Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, and warmly welcome to the Swiss Chrono platform. I'm very glad that you all have registered. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we are very excited because it's a premiere here for us with Swiss Chrono and this new amazing platform for you. My name is Simone and I'm very happy to accompany you here the next days. Well, you can hear I'm not a native speaker and our experts as well. So I would say excuse me for maybe some funny words and for our accent. We will start now with our first webinar for the next 4 days, and it's called Building and Planning with Swiss Chrono Magnum Board OSB. Well, it's an exciting topic that deals with ecological and also economically attractive solutions for the expansion of sustainable living spaces. We are really looking for this, and of course I have two experts here by my side. They will answer your question and they have a lot of to say today. I would like to welcome Christian Polocek from Swiss Chrono's Heiligengraben site. He is expert manager OSB for Germany, Hungary and France, has been working in sales for more than 15 years and 10 of them in the import and export business. And good afternoon, Christian. He will be here at my site directly. And I also welcome Thomas Werle. He will be here on the screen. He's the Vice Director of Erna AG Holzbau. He is head of digital timber construction and a guest lecturer at various universities in Switzerland. Yeah, he will be here in a few minutes. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the future in wood. That's what we want to talk about today, and I'm really happy to have Christian here at my side because he will talk now about the current situation in construction and the construction in the future. Christian, it's your stage now, and we will have here, you know, because of the time we live in, we will have the distance here, we have all the security here. I will go and Christian will come in. Thank you. Christian, it's your stage.
Thank you, Simone. Well, hello again to all participants. As Simone already introduced me, my name is Christian Polocek, Responsible Export Manager. I would like to give you a short overview or a short outlook into what will come the next few years. How do we build with wood, and how is our stand as the Swiss Chrono, or how we are being prepared for that future. As we all know, the construction industry environment has changed considerably as a result of Corona. A part of that in short-term adverse effects, and of course also in long-term changes are also evident. Well, we all know, meanwhile, people prefer to look for houses, for space where they could live in more like a green environmental places. So the trend is showing that people are likely more deciding to go from the towns to the countrysides. We know that the demand category housing is gaining considerably more importance compared to the traveling, of course also because of COVID issues. And of course the construction of owner-occupied homes are supported by the states, which is also very attractive to all of them. Well, according to that, the demand for housing and multifamily housing is very high. So we can say housing construction tends to experience very positive impulse in the near future, also right now at the moment as well. Just an example, home office has become an issue, and those who can live that situation and are able to work from their homes, they of course prefer to have their own home, as I already said, in green surroundings, and of course with good traffic connections to the big cities. and they prefer, of course, the countrysides instead of the town sides. Well, the number of building permits issued last year in a period from January 2020 to November 2020 has growing for more than 5%. In total, the dwellings were approved with a number of 333,000 dwellings for mentioned semi-detached houses, for example, and that was almost 14,000 dwellings more than the year before, which leads to an increase of 4%. Well, we as Swiss Krono, we expect this trend to continue in the future also. And why is this so important at the moment? Moreover, we need to think about the great strides that we have done in digitalism. So, for example, it's no longer necessary to be 100% present at your working space. So in addition to that, there is also a growing interest of people in healthy living and the responsibility of planners and investors to build in carbon, oxygen, binding way. People want to feel good in their surroundings. They think more sustainability, and they want to let off steam creatively, of course, in their environment, and to do so without any restrictions. Well, we are, as Swiss Krono, are therefore well positioned with our wood-based materials to bring out just a few examples. For example, our modular construction system, so-called Magnum board, with our fire protection board, for example, for public buildings like kindergartens or schools. And moreover, and last but not least, for the healthy living, we do have developed the OSB sensitive, which is a OSB board low on emissions. So taking everything above in account, I would say we are well prepared for the future, and the century of wood has just begun. So we are ready.
Yes, thank you, Christian. Swiss Krono is ready. And you know, if you have some questions about our webinar, we would like to have your question in our chat. So please ask us, and we will, during this webinar, answer your questions, or for sure during the afternoon. And Christian already said, we are prepared. And now we will do a bit of a history lesson, right, Christian? We go back to the Stone Age, right?
Yes, that's correct, Simone. The future with wood, building and planning with Swiss Krono Magnum Board OSB. So you already said it, back to the Stone Age. How building is still done today. We all know that, but it makes sense that start with the past. I'm sorry for that little break. As we can see in the slide on the right, stones were still roughly cut. A layer of mortar was applied by hand and stones were placed one by one. The dimensional variation were sometimes really huge, and the carpenters like to say that the masons were lucky if the walls they built stayed inside a proper line. A few years later, stones with ground surfaces arrived. They could be easily stuck together, work was able to proceed faster, and the variations were considerably less. The next improvement was the arrival of the large format blocks, which yield significantly better results in terms of accuracy and time savings. Between 70% and 80% of residential and non-residential buildings in Germany and the rest of Europe are still built in that way. So this is where we want to fight for, to get from the Stone Age into the new age of the wood. But as you can see in the following trailer, what these building approach lack is sustainability. It takes an enormous amount of grey energy to make the required stone, cement and concrete. And large projects, which take months or even years to complete, impose considerably burdens and announces one nearby residence and interfere with traffic around the site. But therefore, please join me, see yourself. We have prepared a little trailer for that. So let's get started. Sustainable. We want to be sustainable. In comparison to today's timber construction, we see timber frame constructions, load bearings in single-family houses and apartment buildings. Possible up to 3 stories as a load bearing element, non-load bearings as a curtain element up to the multi-story. We also see dowel wood, board layer for board layer, pressed and watered in several layers with wooden dowels as glueless construction. Possible in single-family houses construction as well as the further development, the CLT cross-laminated timber in layers, glued solid wood. So, the challenges which the construction industry is now facing include densely settled urban areas with the blocks of flats and multi-story buildings. In rural areas, it is mainly single-family homes, offices, commercial buildings, along with facilities such as childcare centers, schools, etc. But what are the current challenges? One is that construction costs are constantly rising. Others are excessively long productions and building times. Rents are also being increased monthly. Living space is a scarce commodity. Hardly any lots are available anymore, driving prices sky high. The consequence of this insufficient housing in urban areas and as a corollary square meter price which are going through the roof. How can we master these challenges?
Yeah, how can we master these challenges? This is a really good question, and I think that the experts, of course, Christian and Thomas Werle, he will be here right soon, will answer this. You know, we have this premiere today and we are excited and we hope you too. And it would be great if you, beside your questions, maybe in the chat, you can give us some feedback or you have some input, what we can do better, and if there's something you want to see in future on this platform here, just write it down and you find more information of connect.swisschrono.com. We would like to have your input so we can work out this new digital kind of working together. So now I give back the word to Christian and I hope the technique will work with Thomas. He is there, so enjoy the interview.
Well, thanks, Simone. Thomas, I already have you here on my screen, so I think everything is in order. Can you hear me quite well?
I hope so, yes. Can you hear me? I can hear you.
Yes, everything is good. The technique is perfect, in shape. Well, okay, we have prepared a few questions for you. I think you've been following the presentation that we just had. So I would like to get started right away. So,
that's okay for me.
First question, Thomas. When you look in the crystal ball, what is your vision for modern digital timber construction?
Oh, what a question. That's a very difficult question. So let's begin with one slide, like this one. So the look into the crystal ball is like this one. You have on the left side the normal processes, and on the right side here you have the new one, the new processes, the digital processes, like connected all together, like a collaboration, like a community. You see it or you have it in the modern social media. So that will happen in the building industry also in the near future. So, but the big thing is this big block in the middle, the digital transformation machine. So you see, you have many factors play a role in this process from the old one to the new one, and that is like a look in a crystal ball. On the one hand, we have the digital chain in the production, like this one. It's this. So this is the roadmap we create. We have the digital production and extending across various technologies like digital build, digital planning, or digital form finding, and the associated data processing operations. So here we tend to talk about the closed BIM for this one. So it's a digitalization in-house. So you only create data and digital data for your own. So that is I say closed BIM. So and the other one is that increasingly also the exchange digital data with external planners like architects or engineers, or like this one, digital build for the point clouds or in situ robotic. And coming to terms with today's interface will be the next major challenge. That is the black box in the middle. So which we are already getting ready to tackle now. So that is a little bit my side to a crystal, or to a look into a crystal ball.
Well, thanks for that. Just following with the next question. What challenges does the digital transformation pose for timber constructions?
Yeah, these 5 blocks at the end. So if we talk about digitalization in the timber industry, so we have 2 pictures. We have the one from 1984, and we have the new one with the robotics and the human in collaboration. So this is a technology, that's CNC technology, that's the base of this. And if you look what this landscape at the end means for the timber industry today, is that we only have 3 parts, and 2 are not existing today. So one is the parametric design or form finding, and also the exchange to the facility management. And the other one is growing up today now, and that is the big challenge today for the timber industry or timber construction, to find a good way in this black box to grab or whatever, to get the data from the architects, from the BIM, from the open BIM to the digital production. This is a big challenge that we talk about today. So,
okay. So, as an advice from an expert, where should we start?
Learning by doing, I can say. Unfortunately, no process has been modeled today, which could serve as a guide for the meeting practical needs. So the keyword here is really learning by doing. Sit together with all the participants of the building process, like clients, like architects, like engineers, and talking about how far along each of them is with digitalization or BIM. What means that for everybody? And on this, or on the base of this, at the end, so we can talk about the data exchange from one program to the other one. How can we bring information into a 3D model and bring it back at the end? So we create information in the digital production. There will be need in the architecture, and the other one that today we do not have an interface for that. So sit together, talk about this, make some testing, and learning by doing. That is the big challenge or the big word today.
So the interface is the key of bringing together all that information. So as I understood that.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. So what are the implications? I'm sorry.
At the end, this interface is really important. So, and the process behind, sitting together. So, in an extreme case, at the end, when you talk about BIM or the digital exchange, this can even lead, but in an extreme case, this can even lead to changes on the team. So, if everybody or everyone is not able to bring effort or some input or create the data you need, so then that blocks the whole process at the end. So everybody should be able to, or what should be, how can I say, want that they have to do it. So if someone said I cannot do it, then you have to plan in the old processes.
So we need to push on every side to sit together, bringing together the ideas, and then find finally the best interface where we could share all information in time.
Yeah.
Well, thanks. I've got another question for you, Thomas. What are the implications for today's construction processes?
Oh, that is the next big question, the next big crystal ball. So when you look at this slide, so you see the traditional model of how can we build, or how is the process normally working? So so we have the idea, we have what's to build, how can we build it as the design, as an architect, and then normally you make a call for bids, so somebody gets or win the competition, or somebody gets the contract at the end and build it. So, and after all this build or the building process, at the end, the operation begins, the building goes directly to the client. And in the first step, you have a normal sea. It's very easy, it's cool, sunny is shining. And then when we begin to build and we get all this information from this, then you see it's a very rough sea. So it's a stormy sea at the end. So, and what now happens with this digital transformation is this, that normally this how and the gap we have had here is moving a little bit forward. So we have a call for bid between what and how, and so the company is getting more involved in the process of how can we build a building, and then you have the design and build process, and at the end you have the client and the operation too. So, but what happens now? What happens is that we do not need more time, so the timeline is a little bit shorter than in the normal process, and also the costs are normally in the range we defined at the beginning. So that is the big difference from the old process to the new process. So that is
one of the big advantages, Thomas, is that time-saving part of this whole digitalism, right?
Yes. Yes.
Well, how is Erne timber construction responding to all these challenges at the moment?
So what we do is we do timber construction. We are a timber construction company, and we do a lot of prefabricating. So what we are, we give our input in a very few steps, or in a very few phases to the client. So what we say is we have a high prefabrication. For that, we need more detailed planning than normal. So we need much more information in the beginning of this process. And if we have all 3D models and information in the 3D models, we have to exchange our models. So, and that is what we do, that we have the digital planning in-house for the digital production, yes, but we gave our models outside to architects, outside to engineers. We get it back, we give it to the client, and bring all these 3D models together. Then we extract our own production model. That is the difference. So we have a base model who works over the whole process. It's like a very easy model. It's a constructive model with very low detail or low information, and we give more and more information into this model along the timeline for the building process at the end, and that is what we do. So that is thinking in combined models, we say to them. So we have normally a single thinking. Like here, and then we have the connected collaborative thinking for the project. So all the teams are working together. In America, or in the US, it's not really new, but in Germany and Europe, it's new that all these, the client and the HVAC planner, also the architects, are working together for the whole project. And then you get models like this. All is working, I hope so, and we have the digital chain at the end that became used for the production, for lean on site, and so on. So that is the what we are doing today or try to do today.
Thanks for that. Sounds very interesting and moreover very advanced. I hope that, well, that we can copy, customers can copy, and that we can go into that digitalism very fast. I have a last question for you, Thomas. In this context, does timber construction deliver any advantages over other types of construction?
Okay, one big advantage of this at the end is the prefabrication. Yeah, if we talk about prefabrication and the new process, in this case we have a 10-story building. So that was at the end 4 months shorter ready. So we have 4 months shorter building time used for this. So that a little bit of lean, a little bit of BIM. So it's a combination of the new technologies or the new processes. And with this big building, it's a multi-story building. It's a high-rise building. It's 60 meters in the height. So yeah, we are 9 months shorter in the construction time. So that is a big advantage of prefabrication also for the client. And what I also can say for that is that this is not only a single, how can I say, a single single goal or single, how can I say, I don't know the word, but so it's not done by only one person. So that means that we have a team, and the team is not only the architects and the company who built this. That's also the delivery parts like OSB, USB oriented strange board or whatever you need, all the wood. And for that, I can say that companies like Swiss Krono can help for that with the know-how. They know the best way to produce something, and we need big products like Magnum board, something like this. Yeah, and then we can use it, we can define it, we can come together and define maybe new products that we can sell on the market, that we can use, and that is the big advantage that we can do. Yeah, not only with the client and the planners, we can do it also with our supplier. So that's a cool thing, I guess.
Yes, thanks for that, Thomas. We are well positioned, and of course, we like to support in any way we can with our, for example, topic Magnum board. As you can see, the big advantage here is the prefabrication, and then the licensee combines with the digitalism. We save so much time, and we are looking forward, as I already said, the century of the wood has come, and I love to see more of those projects in the future. Thomas, thank you for your expertise. That was really interesting. I hope you join us until the end of the show, and then many thanks for that.
Yeah, I have you on my phone. I see the whole event on the phone and my presentation, though it's very digital today. So thanks.
Very good. That was the plan.
For being here. So
thanks, Thomas.
Yes, many thanks to Thomas Werle and his expertise. You see, ladies and gentlemen, there are a lot of interesting topics we have here. Well, the challenges have been now outlined. So how do the things look? And the question is, does Swiss Krono have a solution for that? I remember that Christian asked Thomas in the beginning of the interview, take a look into the crystal ball. And now I would like Christian to have a look into the crystal ball. So I give back to Magic Christian and to see what he will have in his crystal ball for you.
Well, thank you, Simone.
Yeah,
that was.
You're welcome.
Yes, looking in the crystal ball, what could be the solution, or what this solution looks like? I would like to invite you to a little longer presentation where I've a lot of text, so please excuse me if I'm going to mumble a bit. But I try to give you the latest update on the solutions from Swiss Chrono. Well, you recall the slides that I showed you at the start on the timber frame construction, talking about dowel joinery and cross-laminated timber. Oh, I'm sorry, I still have the earplug, so I have the delay in the ear, so now it's better. Well, anyway, one thing was missing there. However, Swiss Chrono Magnum Board, a solid timber construction system that involves multiple bonded layers and high-quality OSB form. Going forward, all of us, architects, timber builders, owners, and local communities share responsibility for important things like protecting the environment, sustainability, carbon sinks, and so on, that are essential for the future generations to have life worth living. So I'd like to show you a little trailer. What do we mean? Yes, Swiss Chrono Magnum Board OSB. A few topics I'd like to bring you a little bit closer. Of course, let me put it in another way. Architectures, owners, and communities are bearing an increasing responsibility. Policymakers are steadily changing the rules, and as a result, we are getting more green buildings in the cities, and appreciation of wood is increasing tremendously. Due to these environmental benefits, despite its low weight, it possesses excellent structural properties for buildings. It enables extensive prefabrication, which greatly reduces the duration of construction projects. And last but not least, of course, it contains, or the carbon oxygen remains in the wood, which is good for our environmental living. Just an example, 1 cubic meter of constructed wood contains 1 ton of carbon oxygen. Isn't that a good thing? So let's go to the next chart. Here are just a few benefits of the Swiss Chrono Magnum Board system, a solid timber construction system which only we supply. Direct coating or covering with the paint is possible. Plaster or wallpaper without requiring any intermediate layer of plasterboard. Story high format that minimizes joints, precise prefabrication also for complex layouts. Tested fire protection modules for load-bearing applications which resist exposure to flame for between 30 or up to 120 minutes, as specified by the relevant European standard or European technical assessment. The biggest advantage, as I already told you, is the quick and easy assembling. So I always say this is Lego for adults. Well, Cine Awards for more living space are also applicable. And last but not least, Blue Angel certificate on top of that. Well, modules made of between 2 or 3 10 glued together layers of 25 millimeter thick Swiss Chrono OSB4 boards with a declaration of performance. 2 is in the brackets because we have also already produced 2-layer boards, for example, for large exposed load bearings, roofs of various kinds. As already mentioned, it conserves resources because only fresh wood from forced settings are used. I always say that this is either turned into cellulose or pellets, or else we make it into proper boards. Formaldehyde-free binders, PMDI, is used for both the raw boards and the modules, which is, as already mentioned, have been certified by the European Technical Assessment. Well, here, for example, we see a Swiss Chrono Magnum Board Logistic. So from our facilities in Heiligengrabe, where we are the only OSB manufacturer worldwide where we produce the longest board in a length of 18 meters. There you see how the trailer is leaving, so you can imagine the most important thing is not the, well, the most important thing is of course the length of the board itself, but we could produce an even longer board. But moreover, we have to think about the logistics, which is always a little, let's say challenge, because as you can imagine, an 80-meter board with a width of 2.80 meters needs to be special transported. Well, okay, going next chart. This construction system is optimized for urban constructions, for everything from single-family dwellings across blocks of flats to taller and subterranean buildings with larger units. And take a look at the examples. For example, I'd like to call special attention to the photograph in the middle of a Class 5 building with a 5-full story and the exterior insulation and finishing system. It is blasted on the outside. You really can't tell that this is made completely from solid wood. Well, we have naturally made sure to obtain PEFC certification for all of our products, as sustainable forest management is the most important thing for us as a manufacturer for wood-based materials. In addition, we have issued environmental product declarations for all of our products. I'd like to say that we make ourselves and our products transparent in this way. We have also obtained certification that the substances contained in the material used, such as binders, etc., are appropriate for storing food products. Well, the Blue Angel certification, again, I already introduced this Blue Angel a little bit earlier. We also have an expertise from the German Institute of Civil Engineering, short called DEBT, on interior use of our OSB products, plus certificate on the indoor air quality of rooms made of Magnum board in conjunction with lime blasters, and on air quality from the EQUH certification office. Well, the coating is also an interesting point, which can be seen in our show module in the form of felt ceiling painted white. This is also possible. Direct painting is possible because all Magnum boards are sanded. Our show module is, well, at the moment located at our facilities in Heiligengrabe. Due to the COVID crisis, we are not able to move this somewhere, but normally we use it for shows. Also, our customers or architects could ask for it to help demonstrate how Magnum board could be used in their own different ways. Well, here we have another view into our module and the recommended major brands that we use or what we offer to our end users. We are working together with Knauf and Sto. Moreover, we have Keim, Hager and Volvox. Caparol is also an interesting partner. And to show you how the module or how the Magnum board is being cutted inside after the gluing system, here once again the cutouts for cables and plumbings. They are concealed in the second or third layer of the whole wall panel, which means cut it from the bottom to the up. And as a rule, cables and pipes run across the ceiling and through so-called entry apertures, like, let's say, little mouse holes, so into that conduits. Here you can see the easy-to-make connections with approved 90 degrees board and screws, like in the next slide, where we use a Knapp connectors from Warco. This reduces the required assembly time by more than 20%. Well, they are mostly supplied lying flat. At this makes better use of lorry capacities, naturally with a pre-arranged unloading plan. So that means, of course, as you can imagine, the logistics are, yeah, as I said already, a challenge. But from the supplier comes a loading plan, and then the end user or the licensee can say, okay, we take it in that case flat on a trailer, or we have the already vertically placed Magnum boards. So this depends of the machinery that our licensees are using. Well, as you can see here, there is virtually no limit to the shapes you can give modules. Ceiling modules with arcs or circular apertures, or wall modules up to nearly 80 meters long are no problem. Roof modules, either lengthwise or crosswise to the eaves as required. These platform stairs, for example, are shaped like prefabricated concrete stairways. They are placed on steel ingots and top of the membranes. Well, there is an accelerating trend towards prefabricated lift shafts extending over 4 stories. Here we are talking about dimensional tolerance of only a few millimeters over the entire height. And this is something we could definitely avoid with a Magnum board in a length of 80 meters. There is no difference, everything is in shape, so for the subcontractors or the builders that put in the elevator, there is no problem to do it right away after the Magnum board has been placed. Yes, everyone's talking about it, but how do we see the future today? In the following, we would like to inspire you with some reference projects involving Swiss Chrono Magnum board, both with and without modules. So therefore, please enjoy the pictures, see what's possible with the Magnum board. Think about, this is a little hint to all architects at the moment, with Magnum board, your creativity, there are no borders. So how does this future look from today's perspective? Well, a children's care center in Gescher, Germany. The left and right lateral wings feature timber frame constructions. The central part has a glassed atrium and the entrance is made of exposed Magnum board. So here we have a view into the interior of the child care center. Here we have another child care center in Poppenhausen, for which around about 900 cubic meters of Magnum board modules has been used. Look interior. That's what I mentioned already, the no borders for creativity. An example of rounded ceiling sections, 200 millimeter thick. You can see the roof modules, 175 millimeters thick. Here you have the wall sections for a multi-family residential building as well. So another nice example, here we can see a 5-story residence for senior citizens in Lübeck, building class 5. This is my favorite, a house in a traditional local style in Westerland district of the North Sea island of Sylt, comprising 4 luxuriously finished condominiums and faced with natural clinker bricks. What a beauty. Here are some pictures of a carcass. It was a real puzzle assembling it. Some of the pieces measured less than a square meter. So, as I already said, Lego for adults. Well, a terraced house with the staircases on the left, also built with Magnum board. This too is possible. Walls of Magnum board, exposed cross-laminated timber ceilings and conventional roof truss assembled from rafters. A large restaurant, for example, in Franconia, Switzerland, with Knauf, road caulk on the walls, plaster, suspended ceiling, large kitchen, offices, and ticket booth. Well, here a nice view from above. Here the walls were about 4.2 meters high with visible solid beams and made of Baubuche, a laminated veneer lumber made by Paul Meyer using locally sourced beech. Another office building with about 800 square meters of floor space on 2 stories. It took only about 4 months. You have to imagine 4 months to build it, from excavation to having people sit inside working. Another school in Frankfurt built by my colleague's company Erne AG. This is modular construction. Here you can see the modules itself, floor and ceilings executed with OSB longboards. Well, the view of the modules, floors and ceilings again. An interim school in Nuremberg made of OSB longboards with a length of 70.8 meter long for ceilings and floors of the modules. Very nice, and of course, the question of time is always the big advantage in that module building. So a few pictures of the modules. And here we have another 10 and 7 story high constructed with modules building from Erne AG. And well, these were just a few examples. I'm already almost at the end. I would like to give you a short overview of our existing licensees. Here in Germany, we, for example, work with 3B Tech, Magnum Board, with the Magnum Board manufacturer Germany, with the Keilhofer company, and last but not least, a new one, Borchardt Holzwerk, that we could win as licensee for our Magnum Board products. Moreover, we have a few in the rest of, let's say, Europe. Belgium, we just can say that we have 2 very interesting ones. That first one is Wood and Build and De Boyke Larrey. And another one in France, which is Vermont. And last but not least, you already know him. He was the expert telling us about the digitalism in wooden constructions, Erne AG. Well, before I come to the end, I'd like to call your attention once again to our show module. You are invited to virtually visit it and gain inspiration and ideas for using our building system. Please also feel free to attend our in-person events when you are able to resume them. Well, all that remains for me to say thank you for the attention. And I would close my presentation with, with a nice saying of a French architect, biologist, and entrepreneur, Timothy, hopefully I spell it right, Boituzé, who said that the 19th century was the age of the steel, the 20th century was the age of concrete, and now 21st century will be the century or the age of the wood. So let's tackle it together.
Thank you very much, Christian. Wow, this was a huge information flow, a lot of insights and a lot of information. If you like to join me, so come over here in this in this cozy environment.
Yes.
Come around,
Keeping
take a
the
seat.
distance.
I think you deserve it to take a seat now
Well,
and take
I
a
need
sip.
I need a sip of water. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. I hope, ladies and gentlemen, that you now got a real big overview about the Magnum Board OSB. If you want to go deeper in this topic, if you're interested in more information about it, just write into the chat, because our experts will be there and answer your questions. And if you have some feedback, some input for us, because we are almost done with the first day of this premiere, right?
That's right. Yeah.
And you, as a salesman, how was this for you? It's different.
Well, of course, it's something new, but very interesting. I really like that step into that digitalism, and we push and move professional very fast forward. This is what I really appreciate. Well, that's also the only thing I appreciate about COVID, that pushes us into that digitalization time. Of course, I'm missing also the direct face-to-face communication with my customers and also friends, of course. But of course, moreover, it was a necessary step, and we are on a good way, and I'm looking very much forward to that what comes next. So I know we are very well positioned digitally, and well, I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, you've been active and now you're interactive as Swiss Chrono, right? Yes, and I say thank you to you, and of course to Thomas Werle for this webinar and the insights, and thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We of course hope you enjoyed it and you will be very good informed now, and if there are still questions, I told you before, write them down in the chat and they will be answered during the day. Thank you very much. And if you're interested in more of these webinars, take a look on connect.swisschrono.com, because the next 3 days we have interesting topics, and maybe you would like to register there. Thank you for your attention, and we wish you a nice afternoon. Bye.
Bye-bye. Thanks.